Abandoned boy has overpowered ability that can insta-kill everyone. Yogiri, despite having this insane power, is indifferent and passive. During a field trip, their class has been teleported to another world. Yogiri and his friend Tomochika explore this new realm, hoping to find a way back home. The series begins with a child with a bizarre highlight on his hair, Yogiri, searching for Asaka in some kind of research facility. He then finds her being held hostage by a girl with a gun. Clueless of what's happening, he says, "Asaka-san, I finally found you." Asaka is surprised to see Yogiri. The girl threatens to kill Asaka if Yogiri moves. However, the girl dies instantly, freeing Asaka. Our MC has this power at his early age? Asaka is so puzzled, and Yogiri, like nothing happened, suggests they go home. Both feel relieved. Hey Otaku fam, support our small channel by subscribing, like and binge watch our videos if you please. Help us make more awesome recaps. Now, let's continue. The scene shifts to Tomochika, waking Yogiri up on a bus. Yogiri realizes he had a dream about Asaka. He then asks Tomochika who she is. She introduces herself and shows him the chaos on the bus and tells him about 2 dead students. Despite the situation, Yogiri seems calm and notices a dragon-like creature outside attacking the bus. He throws a mic at it, making it release the dead student and the bus. He realizes it is a wyvern. The wyvern turns its attention to them, but Yogiri, after being bumped by something soft when the afraid Tomochika hugs him, says something to the attacking wyvern. The wyvern dies. Insta-kill. Yogiri, like nothing happened, asks Tomochika to explain the situation while playing with a gadget. She replies that while he was sleeping, they crossed a tunnel and were teleported into another world where a sage named Shion entered their bus and introduced herself. She killed their teacher for making a ruckus, and the bus driver too, for not laughing at her joke. She says, "My joke bombed and it angered me, so I killed him." She has summoned them to make them sage in this world. She installs a system called Battle Song in them to give them superpowers. However, 4 students, including Yogiri and Tomochika, didn't receive powers. The students decide to leave them behind and go to the city. The wyvern attacks after. She then makes a sarcastic remark. Someone was sleeping peacefully through the whole thing though. Yogiri suggests it should be safe outside, since Shion mentioned there was only one dragon. Tomochika asks him if he did something to the dragon, but Yogiri dodges the question. They then notice a hill, a city, and a forest, thinking of their next move. Soon, 3 classmates approach them in the air. Yogiri suggests killing them, but Tomochika disagrees. However, he warns they could be hostile. Their classmates land, revealing wicked intentions toward Tomochika. They intend to turn her into a zombie and rape her. Perv thoughts for someone who just got new powers. Ryosuke boasts his fireball skill, pushing their intention. Yogiri intervenes, pointing his finger at Ryosuke and calmly says, "Die." Ryosuke dies, and the other student checks on him, but is killed by Yogiri too. With the fat guy left, Yogiri explains his instant death to any target ability. By just thinking of wanting to kill someone, they instantly die. He also adds that hostile threats to him die as well. Isn't that an insane power? He learns from Fatso Daemon that they've been summoned to this world before to kill the Demon Lord, and there is a way to go back, and that all this is just a few hours in the real world. Daemon then wears a slave collar out of fear and puts himself under Tomochika's control, who then passes him to Yogiri. He orders him to go to the forest full of beasts, not to tell anyone about them, and leave behind all his belongings. Free loots, Tomochika wonders, and asks Yogiri why he saved her, to which he replies, "Your chests were soft?" Embarrassed and angry, Tomochika shouted, "There are no decent men in this world." Meanwhile, the sage Shion, who seems giggling while dreaming, receives a report about the situation from Yuichi. She learns about the fatalities and orders Yuichi to keep an eye on the situation. In the next scene, Tomochika and Yogiri arrive at the closest town. Tomochika notices the gates closing and rushes in with Yogiri. The guard said something they couldn't understand, and they just waited. The Lord, Masahiko, troubled by them, Yogiri asks him if he can tell them how to get to the capital since they got separated from their group. Masahiko, hesitant at first, offers to tell them if Tomochika spends a night in his mansion. What a perv! Tomochika declines and quickly drags Yogiri away. Yogiri asks her about it and replies that she was worried he might kill Masahiko. Yogiri, surprised by this notion, says, "What am I to you, a serial killer?" Tomochika sarcastically replies, she is astonished he hadn't realized this about himself before. They then explore the town. They encounter Mireyu, a cat girl, who offers them help, explaining her intentions to seduce Yogiri. Despite this, they accept her assistance. Later, Tomochika shops and acquires new clothes. Suddenly, they find themselves surrounded by hoodlums. Yogiri, unsurprised by it and Mireyu's participation, asks them what they want. The leader explains they target those without gifts, like Yogiri, for stress relief. Yogiri casually threatens to kill them, but they call it a bluff. However, when he commands them to die, they all drop dead. Yogiri even tries to kill them partially, but fails. He is even testing his abilities. Mireyu pleads and attempts to flee, but is killed as well. Town guards then arrive. Captain Edelgard questions them about the incident, and Yogiri claims they got lost and found the hoodlums already dead. Edelgard sees through the lie. Despite this, she lets them go, as Jorge says that they have no gifts. Yogiri asks Jorge for a place to stay for the night. Edelgard calls out Jorge as one of the hoodlums is still alive. Meanwhile, in the luxurious inn, Yogiri and Tomochika book separate rooms. White Tomochika is thinking in her room. A spirit resembling her sister appears. Mokomoko reveals herself as Tomochika's guardian spirit. Her role is to protect her from anything except physical attacks. She explains that she appears just now as she is afraid of Yogiri's power, as it could affect a spirit guardian like her. Tomochika is surprised, but Mokomoko urges her to inform Yogiri about her for her safety. Even a guardian spirit is afraid of our MC, huh? Mokomoko then explains she protects Tomochika from the gift to be not controlled by the sage. The next day, they meet with Celestina, the concierge, who helps them with their journey. She provides the needed items for this. They board a train to the capital. Yogiri playing on his gadget while they are discussing things. The train gets attacked as they pass through the forest, where their classmates are training. Meanwhile, in town, the guards try to interrogate the captured hoodlum, but face difficulty due to his disorientation. Lane, a vampire, examines him, but finds his blindness incurable, even inducted with her blood. Suddenly, a brave hero attacks. On the train, the duo witness a confrontation between sages and aggressors. They then discuss if Yogiri should use his power. Back in town, Ain attacked Lane but was unharmed. He reveals his disdain for the sages and initiates a powerful attack, Holy Sword Cartena, causing chaos. Back to Yogiri. He uses his powers to kill the sage being arrogant to them. Surprisingly, the aggressor approaches them showing no hostility. Back in the town, Lane survives the attack and plans to abduct Yogiri and Tomochika. Back to the duo, they learn about the aggressor's ability to return to his world, but find it impossible to bring others along. Meanwhile, the group takes a break in the forest, while the spirit gives Tomochika a weapon to use. Yogiri and Tomochika arrive at Hanabusa City, resembling Japan. Tomochika notices Yogiri looking tired and asks about his condition. Yogiri explains that he had been dealing with thieves and demons, leaving him fatigued. In the city, Tomochika notices its defense uses a barrier instead of castle walls. They arrive at a high-rise hotel. While Tomochika admires the hotel, they meet their classmate Tachibana. Surprised, Tomochika asks why he isn't with the rest of their classmates in the primeval forest. Tachibana responds confidently, "I move separately from them. There's no need for me to work with those who level up inefficiently." He introduces his lady bodyguards Erika, Stephanie, Chelsea, Euphemia, and Riza, who show hostility towards the duo. Tachibana, being a cocky one, openly proposes for Tomochika to become his mistress. His bodyguards show dismay. Tachibana, boasting his skill dominator, shares his strategy for leveling up efficiently, using his bodyguards to gain experience. Tomochika heavily declines his proposal. Meanwhile, Lane, engaged in combat with an aggressor, the Darkness, showcasing her strength against it. Back at the hotel, Tomochika noticed Yogiri had been asleep for 3 days, raising concern. She sees commotion outside, finding this world weird. Mokomoko senses potential danger while they are talking. Tomochika calls Yogiri. Yogiri, having a dream, wakes up and comes out. He senses Erika's hostility towards Tomochika and kills her. "Lady, you're trying to be sneaky, huh?" He then calls the lobby that someone collapsed in the hallway. Tachibana realizes his subordinate's demise. Being attacked by a cockroach monster, he uses his skill to make it a slave, and commands to get more allies. Analyzing the situation, he sends Riza and Chelsea after Tomochika. Meanwhile, Lane, still battling with the darkness, is unable to defeat it and keeps moving forward. Back to the duo as they try to escape. Riza appears and attacks them with ice magic but fails. While they are interrogating Riza, Chelsea tries to subdue them using dolls but fails miserably. Yogiri kills Riza, who is about to make a move. The duo gets intel from the crying kid Chelsea, who lost her will to fight. Tachibana sends a swarm of cockroaches, but Yogiri wittingly finds the source of this desire to kill through the swarm and reaches to Tachibana instead. Yogiri instantly kills him. Stephanie tries to heal her master with no success. Being released from Tachibana's control, Euphemia steps outside, leaving her only to be confronted by Lane, who uses charm and bites her and gets information from her. Now, that's unfortunate. Our duo gets out in the city and finds out that it is manifested by zombies. On Lane's side, she tells Euphemia that she is testing the limits of Yogiri's abilities. She wants to know if he can kill her. Back to the duo, Tomochika wonders, why is the city full of zombies? Yogiri replies, their movements look slow, so I think it's possible to escape if we move cautiously. Tomochika wonders if they shouldn't help the survivors, but Yogi tells her they're not in a position to do so. Even Mokomoko agrees. Elsewhere, Ryuta asks Masayuki why he's in the city. Masayuki explains that Lane left the city entirely up to him. Ryuta asks Masayuki to take his undead army away. Masayuki refuses, stating he's acting under Lane's orders. Masayuki threatens the citizens to bring Yogiri and Tomochika to him. Back to the pair, they're hiding from the people who are pursuing them. Yogi thinks because he killed a sage. Yogi senses an imminent threat and sees the residents closing and ends up killing one. He gets pissed with Masayuki, but thinks of negotiating in the plaza. Reaching the plaza, they talk to Masayuki. Unwilling to come to terms, Masayuki challenges them, but Yogi effortlessly defeats his immortal core. Our MC can kill even the undead. He eventually kills the stubborn Masayuki before he fully transforms. Now that's cold. Ryuta, the city's leader, tries to make peace and save the city. Yogiri senses an intent to kill from all directions towards them. Lane's eagerness to test Yogiri from afar uses the city's people. She then clones herself and Yogiri detects stronger hostility. As the darkness approaches the city, Yogiri tries to kill it. Lane's clones then rain down from the sky, wreaking havoc. Tomochika can see through the attack, and Yogiri devises a plan to counter Lane's attacks. With Ryuta's help, they teleported to a strategic location to anticipate her moves. With the combined ability of the duo and Mokomoko, they ultimately destroy Lane's clones. He was then eventually able to kill her with some delay from the clones to the source. Meanwhile, a girl awakens in a coffin, listening to Lane's message, explaining her survival strategy against Yogiri. The group then makes their way to the capital through a truck lent by Ryuta. Back at the Sage Candidates camp, a samurai Ryuko discovers troubling developments regarding Yogi's activities from Carol, an American ninja. While talking about monitoring Yogiri, a notification alerts them of the opening of Alpha Omega First Door, causing panic among the group. What could this be? Back to the duo, Tomochika is driving on a mountain road and notices a rock blocking their path. She tries to wake up the sleeping Yogiri, who is dreaming about Asaka. The story shifts to the past, showing Asaka's job interview at the lab talking to Yuko. Despite learning about the dangers, Asaka agrees to work there. Yuko explains their research and experimentation on curses and informs her of her assignment, taking care of Alpha Omega, who's residing in an underground vault. Asaka, now in charge of Alpha Omega's care, meets a child. Seeing him locked up, she carries him outside and throws him, nagging, "You're just gonna obediently stay locked up?" Also points out that he should be outside playing. Young Yogiri sees a ghost-like figure behind Asaka and kills it. He calls it a devil that tries to kill him sometimes. She introduces herself, and the child says he is Alpha Omega, with a former name, Lord Okakushi, before being in the facility. Our MC is the Alpha Omega. Both hungry, she attempts to cook for him while he is bathing. They bond over instant ramen, and Asaka then names him Yogiri Takatu. Meanwhile, in the present, Tomochika struggles with the mountain road and encounters dragons. Yogiri effortlessly deals with the threats, including a golden dragon. The dragon says, "You pass," and runs away. Yogiri, knowing they can communicate, calls out and threatens it. The dragon stopped in the air. It turns out to be a shape-shifting child who tests those who are worth meeting the sword master, who wants to meet qualified candidates. Yogiri, not interested, gets swayed when the child offers to lead them to the capital if they meet the swordsmater. She introduces herself as Attila. She leads them to meet the swordmaster, Urabi, who oversees a deadly competition to select the Knights of the Divine King. Participants are instructed to fight until only half remain. Amidst the chaos, Yogiri and Tomochika meet Rick and Linnell, who give insights about the Divine King and their own experiences. Linnell also shares about his apology stone that can heal him and give luck depending on the situation. That a weird way to get stones. He also explains how the gacha works, giving him random items and getting more stones depending on the misfortunes he incurred on a day. As the group advances, they encounter barriers and witness a frozen tableau of the Divine King and the Dark God. Frederica, a mage among them, attempts to attack the Dark God, but fails due to the time distortion inside the barrier. The selection process begins with participants tasked to reach the first floor of the tower within 24 hours. Tomochika wonders if Yogiri's abilities can defeat the Dark God, and Yogiri shares something with her, leaving her so surprised. What he whispered. That's our recap for today. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and enable the notification bell.